here in Straight Talk. I'm Chito Losada. We are live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Today, we are joined by two leaders in the BPO industry. The Contact Center Association of the Philippines Managing Director, Rosario Cajucom-Bradbury, and CCAP President, Mikey Ocampo. Welcome to Straight Talk.
Welcome.
Sir Mikey, and how do we call you, ma'am?
Rosario na lang po.
Napakahaba.
Napakahaba ba? Nung bata po ako, Charito. Pero Rosario na lang po.
Charito.
Kung mapagdasal po kayo ng Rosario.
Alright. So, good morning, Sir Mikey and Ma'am Charito. And we're honored to have you on Straight Talk. So, far away, we ask the first question.
Yeah.
So, eto siguro muna. What is CCAP?
Okay. CCAP po in the acronym is the Contact Center Association of the Philippines. It is one of the sectors that is playing in the BPO or IT BPM industry. We capture 85% of the total volume. So our members are the call centers and the business process management mga companies. We have over 150 members, the likes of Accenture, the likes of Teleperformance, and even Hinduja SGS, and of course his own company, which is Pilipinas Teleserve.
Yes, I work at Pilipinas Teleserve. So, the CCAP started in February of 2001. So, 7 companies at the time. They had a vision of growing the contact center industry. So, that was the task of the association. So, from that time on to where we are now, that's about 150 members strong.
Oh, from 10.
7.
Correct.
Seven,
7 to
yeah.
150 now. And then our objective is really to help enable the BPO industry towards their growth. For the network, but sharing best practices and also how do we assist them in growing their business in terms of where is the places where they can do their expansion in the Philippines, what marketing materials we could help them out in convincing their headquarters, what are the best practices in terms of the technology, the business process in terms of leadership, and help propel the growth with them. So we keep in touch in those areas, right?
So, Sir Mikey, from 7, 150 na ngayon.
Yes.
So, ilan ang employees nitong 150 companies?
All right, for 2022, we ended with 1,570,000.
Yeah.
1.5.
But let me just clarify that 1.5, 7 million jobs that is all over the Philippines is not just from CCAP or the Call Center Association, but it's also with our other joint associations, which is HIMAP on the health, PSIA on the Philippine software industry, Gaming Association, the animation, and GICC, which is the shared services. But 85% of that,
It's about 1.3.
about 1.3 of 1.5 is coming from not necessarily the 150 countries, it's 150 more. Because there are some that are not yet members, but you know, they prefer to be just focused into being able to grow themselves and things like that.
Ah, okay. So,
Yeah.
yung 1.5 pala, hindi pa to accounted all the entire...
This is the entire for Philippines.
Alright.
But the 1.3 is for the CCAP, but it's not only coming from the 150 members. Many more, kasi may mga non-members din po. But the 150 members that's all the big companies that are operating there, which is like the Concentrix, which has over 200,000 employees.
Ito ang pinakamadami pala.
Apa,
Concentrix. Sir Mikey, yung BPO company, when did it start?
In our company, Pilipinas Teleserve Incorporated, we started in June 2000. So we're on our 23rd year of
With how
operations.
many employees then?
You know, if I remember right, we had about 7 seats
At the time.
at the time, no? And it's a 100% Filipino-owned and homegrown company.
And I understand, Sir Mikey, you used to work also. You started as a call center agent.
Well, yeah, during weekends. I actually got immersed into the industry in 1998 when I worked with another center. So I got involved in operations, but on weekends, to understand the nature of call center work, I did work as an agent so that I knew what I was doing. So,
Sorry, I just wanted to also serve. So, if the call center that from Mickey, which is the Pilipinas Teleserve, would be really a pure CCAP type of member, right? For that matter. Meron po rin GICC, which I forgot to mention, which is the shared services, which is the likes of Nestle who does it for their own company, for example, and the likes of SGS where I used to work, which is we do it for our own company, serving the 150 affiliates. So we don't serve other clients, but only within the affiliates, something like that. And that also started, it was the first Swiss BPO company shared in year 2000 also. Wala pang, the word BPO wasn't coined yet at the time.
So what was it called then?
Well, in our type, we were just calling it Global Processing Unit.
Okay.
Wala pa pong the word BPO. The word BPO was coined in mid-2000, I
Yeah,
think.
thereabout, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit later on.
Yeah.
So it started 1998.
Technically, opo.
It actually started a little bit much earlier.
Earlier, like Shell.
It was mostly shared services.
Shared services ang mga
Now,
nauna po
the
dyan.
outsourcing portion started coming in as towards 1998, moving towards the new millennium and onwards.
So yung shared services is, again, it's just to clarify, it's serving their group. If I recall correctly, mga nauna po dyan, Shell, Filipina Shell, which is serving their purchasing or finance, something like that. Tapos sumunod po kami na SGS in year 2000.
Kailan yung naging peak?
Nag-boom.
Oo. Kailan siya talagang, syempre, it started with just, shared services. Kailan siya nag-peak?
It started peaking, running back with the history, maybe around towards 2003 when the Philippines was being recognized. That was when international companies started setting up shop here. What used to happen was they would initially, coming from the US, they would transfer calls here, overflow, till they realized the Philippines, cultural affinity, proficiency in English, malasakit. So they started setting up shop here, moving more calls here, and of course the cost competitiveness.
So malasakit, meaning mas pasensyoso ang mga Pilipino.
It's the desire of the
care.
Filipino to serve.
Correct.
I would classify it as serving with a hospitality, serving with a smile. I mean, that's how everybody is in the Philippines in general.
So, nasa culture talaga ng
Yes.
Pilipino.
Totoo po yan.
So, medyo magpa-fast forward tayo. Anong nakikita niyong future in the BPO industry?
Okay, the future is that we just launched the Roadmap 2028. Okay, and in that Roadmap 2028, you start with the end of the 2022, which is we ended at $32.5 billion revenue for the Philippines alone, with 2.57 full-time employees for the whole Philippines. Looking into the future, the target in 6 years in 2028 is to double that 32.5 to become $59 billion revenue for the Philippines by 2028, an additional 1.1 million more jobs, making it 2.5 million Filipinos in the jobs, which is adding 1.1. So that's the future, but in a sense, the growth we would like to focus in the countryside. Why in the countryside? For more impactful, inclusive growth and giving jobs really to the Filipinos in the countryside. In that area is that because right now it's 70-30. 70% is in Metro Manila, 30% countryside. So by 2028, gusto po nating maging 40% ang countryside, 60% ang Metro Manila. But there are levers of acceleration to make it happen po. Government policy regulations is one of them. Talent development, meaning kailangan we have employable graduates. Infrastructure in the countryside has to be stronger and to be able to do the work from home as well. And of course, the branding and marketing of the Philippines. Hindi lang po tayo labor arbitrage, but what is our value proposition? As Mickey has said, ang malasakit ay nandun sa trait natin, English. So that's why, what's our brand nga, Mickey, now?
The heart of the Philippines, the heart of CX. CX for customer experience.
Yeah, Philippines is the heart of customer experience.
Okay, so
Mostly Americans ang magiging opportunity market.
The majority of our clients are really coming from America, from North America. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 40 to 70%.
Yeah, it's about
right?
70% from North America, then the breakup of 15% of Europe, and then about 15% from Asia. Asia Pacific, so you have Australia, New Zealand, that area.
Correct.
Oh,
So, ang majority
New
po talaga
Zealand,
North
Australia.
America. Ang emerging growth is really coming from Asia Pacific. Australia has been using Philippines a lot now, and you would see a lot of Australian company here like Telstra are here, and things like that.
pero reality, kasi, minsan nagsurf ako sa nakakapag-lurk ako paminsan-minsan sa TikTok. And then, meron ako nakikita na, I don't know if anong nationality yon. Parang meron silang meme na, parang, I want to talk to a Filipino. I want to talk to, an American or an English-speaking something. Is it reality na, call center agents, experience that na parang may discrimination just because, although English speaking, second language ng Pilipino ang English, but then meron mga customers from abroad na very sila, they want to talk to someone who speaks siguro the accent,
The accent.
hindi yung Filipino accent. So, reality ba yun? Is it happening?
I won't say it isn't. Of course, those things will always happen, but there are always ways of going around it. That's why we also have accent training. So we also have, there's a big capability of transferring calls also if need be, to the proper. But again, customers always right. So we have to give the customer what they want.
Okay.
I think maybe just focus that totoo po yan sabi ni Mickey. At the end of the day, you serve the customers. Kaya nga po ang sikap is we serve the world. Okay? But you're asking is whether is that true or not. There are so many customers in this industry with a $275 billion revenue global with 32.5. You cannot please everybody. There are customers really who would say, I just want to speak to somebody who's really American or whatever. Okay? But that was probably in the very beginning of the industry. But now the world is aware that the call center and offshoring is in the Philippines or in India or wherever in the world. And I think they go, as we serve them, they go beyond the accent, they go beyond that. They look at the quality of the service of the Filipino na nangingibabaw na it's customer experience. I get better customer experience with the Filipino. So it's just to balance. Those are also the comments we get that if it's a Philippine call center, we get the best customer experience. It gets resolved. We are handled with a lot of care and attention.
Chito, balikan natin yung Ma'am Rosario saying about, 60%, 70% sa Metro
30.
Manila.
Right now.
And then 30%
Sa probinsya po.
Outside
Ang
the
vision
city.
nila is to make it 40, ma-spread pa. So tanungin siguro natin sila
Yeah,
Chito.
kung anong-
Yung ano ba yung mga next wave na areas? Kung sikat na sikat ang Manila, Cebu, yung mga metro cities.
You're saying na Northern Luzon na preparable na mga
Marami pong area, no? So I think maybe we partner with DICT, okay? Because DICT prepares the digital cities. They have identified 31 digital cities or mga LGU areas where the growth can be in the provincial. So DICT has started to prepare them for that matter. So yung mga bago po nilang ni-launch last week po, nag-launch sila ng additional 5 digital cities. And if I'm not mistaken, the one of them is in Pangasinan. Ano pa nga bang probinsya yun? Di ba yun? Tagbilaran. Okay. Sa may Bohol din and
Yes.
things like that. So marami po like sa Lawag. Yan po yung mga ibang digital cities. Sa Lawag, sa Bataan, Balanga Bataan, meron sa Taytay Rizal, sa Cebu, Metro Cebu, Cagayan de Oro, and so forth. So, ang ginagawa po ng SICAP, tuwing meron po kaming general membership meeting, iniimbita po namin yung mga LGU officers of these provincial areas to speak there and have a dialogue with our members. Kaya nag-survey po
So
kami
ito, Sir Mickey, ito yung ating yung we're talking about, the next wave.
Oh,
Oh, yes, there. Yeah.
Yan po yung 31 digital cities of that has being nurtured by DICT for which we work with sa kanila po. So tumutulong po kami in promoting that. Kino-connect po namin ang mga member namin sa kanila na if this is your area of interest to expand, so we have we enable the dialogue with them to see is that city really able to serve their expansion in terms of talent, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of ease of doing business.
So, ma'am, what is digital city exactly? What does it? How does it help in promoting call centers and BPOs?
Well, basically a digital city, you have to be prepared to accept contact center work, locators. No? So you have to have the right infrastructure. So you're talking about power, real estate. You want to have telecoms, connectivity, definitely, and redundancies all in place. You have to have the good talent, available talent, no? And the cities that are mentioned there have very strong English-speaking talent.
So, ibig sabihin po, itong mga nasa red, can we flash it back? So, itong mga red, coded na red. So, ibig sabihin, wala pa tong mga existing. But then, in 2025, magkakaroon na sila ng mga BPO.
Yung actually this slide is actually was like early this year. Pero meron 5 na po at least diyan na progress na into color blue, which is the next wave cities.
Alin po yun?
Yung Tagbilaran po, no, medyo maliit lang po. Dagupan, if I'm not mistaken, na isa sa mga, tsaka General Santos, nasa next wave na rin sila.
Kanya Balanga, Batangas.
Balanga, opo. Nandun na po sila ngayon. Umurong na po sila into blue. So, ang DICT is doing a lot of work to help them. Meron po silang scorecard to assess them, which is infra, talent, ease of doing business. Yung po mga bagay na yon.
Yes. You know, not to say that there are no contact centers located there. There are some that are already there.
Are already there.
Also.
So they still have a lot of capacity to accommodate them. So they need to be prepared for that matter. Ang kagandahan po dyan, si Yusek Josel, very passionate, taga Bacolod po yan eh. Very passionate siya. She really wants it to be in the countryside. Very inclusive talaga ang projection nila in that matter, together with Director Emmy and of course with their secretary, si Ivan Uy. Very geared po talaga. May kita nyo po talaga ngayon na kinu-coach po nila ang bawat LGU. And then pag kinu-coach po nila, pag ready na for presentation, tinatawag po kami to be parang panel to review kung pwede na. Okay, in terms of yung kanilang marketing deck page. And then when they're okay, we let them meet also with our members. Because our members say we want to expand their okay. They want to do their due diligence.
So, madami-dami rin pala yung next, yung digital cities.
31 total po.
So, maraming mga excited, you know.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't have to go to the city or to a nearby area to work for So, yung job generation talaga.
Hindi lang po yun. Then yung mga empleyado po na nasa probinsya, hindi na kailangan pumunta ng Maynila. They could just stay there with their family. Para po yung overseas Filipino workers, pero over Metro Manila lang, no? But still, and then even the offices in Manila, the work from home, you can be anywhere.
Yeah.
During pandemic, these employees went back to their provinces.
Speaking of work from home, oo. So ngayon ba, meron pa rin work from home? Like, ilang percent ba ng workforce are still doing work from home? This, even nung na-lift na yung restriction na wala ng health emergency.
Okay, we have different types of setups. There's a hybrid, which is a combination of on-site and work from home. So there are some that are actually 100% work from home. So it depends on which government agency you're registered with. If you're with the if you're with BOI, so you can do 100% work from home if needed. Then if you're with PESA, that's a 70-30 split of on-site and work from home. So it gives the advantage of, right now, of a choice of what to do.
And of course, mga third-party service provider na BPO, they also have to listen to their customers because some customers doesn't like too much, but they want a combination for that matter. But if you talk about the talents, a lot of our talents have demonstrated that they can produce output even from work from home.
Hindi na compromise yung
hindi na.
quality of service.
Exactly. Yun po important. And security is very important. So the infrastructure is very important of it being robust, and of course the infrastructure of the company in terms of protecting their data also.
So does it mean dahil sabi nga ni Sir Mickey na hybrid na, so does it mean established na in place na talaga yung security for each company na nag-adopt ng work from home?
Yes. For the companies, for the CCAP member companies, they've established that security leaks. They've made sure that everything works well within that system. And I guess they would be very selective with the type of work that is allowed to be work from home.
I think maybe to reiterate, CCAP, we have 4 councils. We have the HR Council, BCP and Security Council, SME Council, and Marketing Council. In the BCP and Security Council, these are the areas being addressed of what are the best practices the companies are doing and how they can help each other. A lot of course, it's always the safeguard of the company. How do they protect their information security and all of that thing?
So I
The
guess
technology helps, you know.
you're taking a commercial break. And
Alright.
Oo.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Painit ng painit yung ano eh. Siguro, mamaya magtatanong na tayo.
I saw a question about Quezon. I wanted sana na, commercial break.
Ah, yeah.
I wanted sana not to talk about it because, tinanong sa, no, only because, you
Yeah,
know,
we'll ask you, Sir Mickey, about that. So, let's
When we come
pause.
back.
my only, my personal concern is the weather.
All right, sige po. We'll talk about that. So, we'll be back after a short break. So, masyadong interesting ang ating topic ngayon.
Nagtitiis ka na lang ba sa e-wallet at lumang bank apps mo?
Struggle! I can't receive payments na.
I need to go to the bank branch to deposit a check pa.
Singilan na. So hassle to do it one by one. I need to send my bank deets again and again.
Tiis no more! With UB, hindi ka na mahahassle, hindi ka na magsistruggle, at hindi ka na magte-travel pa to the bank branch to transact. Ayos? Ayos! Download Union Bank online now.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa iyo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Lahat ng minimiti makakamtan sa PCSO.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with the network that gets better every day for you.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
And
So
we're
we're
back
Okay.
from our break. So, tanong tayo kaagad.
Yeah.
Tanong muna natin
Oh,
yung ano,
clarification.
clarification. Because mga katribo, ang usually yung tawag natin, call center agent yan. Yung pala, hindi pala. When you say call center, that's only for the voice. Yung nagre-receive ng calls.
Yes.
So, Sir Mickey, can you clarify?
Well,
Yung call center is only for voice. And that's like an archaic term, perhaps. So now it's called contact centers, contact center agent, because we cater to voice and non-voice. Non-voice is email, chat, SMS support, social media now, and what other form of digital support. Now, and then we're moving over towards CX. So it could be a customer experience agent.
Okay. So, mali pala. So,
Hindi naman mali po. It's
No, I mean,
within the
I'm-
context of what
yeah,
we do.
yeah. So,
And if you see it, it's now customer experience. Because
Ano
really that
difference
is,
nun?
it's the value proposition of the Philippines really, and we believe this is the brand that the Filipinos are. Customer experience, that if I am the contact center agent, when I speak to you, how I serve you and find resolution to you expeditiously and efficiently is the experience you receive that is, it's unforgettable because you know you got a good experience, even though it's no resolution or with resolution. But the way I handle the call is with care and with respect. And that is a Filipino trait. We are very innate of us, of a service-orientedness.
and this is the reason why Philippine ranks number 1 or number 2
Correct.
globally in terms
globally,
of.
the contact center industry.
Can you expound it, Ma'am Rosario? Yan tungkol dyan sa Philippine ranking. That's something for the Philippines to be, for Filipinos to be proud of. Sabihin nila, ano lang yan, call center lang. But you know, yun nga,
Correct.
Philippines ranks.
Yeah, 1 or 2 with India in terms of the contact center. First, in terms of a market space, of our captured market space in the industry. And second, for the customer experience, we believe that they experience with us. Because the innate trait of a Filipino, which is service-orientedness, and the ability to listen, active listening, and with empathy, differentiates us from the world. Kung meron lang po, my background is sometimes also in the ISO certification. Kung meron lang pong certification of the best talent in the world, I would believe Philippines would have been in a gold label in terms of talent in the world. Talent really is our competitive advantage. You know? And you see, nurses abroad is well loved in serving because yung pasensya, yung tiyaga, yung pagmamahal at aruga ay sincere. Hindi po yung scripted lang. Things like that. And maybe Mickey can enhance on this one.
Well, you know, we've been known as the contact center capital of the world. And that happened in 2016 when we overtook India as far as voice and contact center operations. So now we're moving towards customer experience where you meet and exceed customers' expectations. And customer experience just doesn't be within our space. It's everybody's space. In fact, like Rosario mentioned, nurses, the way they serve patients abroad, it's all about customer experience, how you make them feel served, how you make them cater to their problems. So that's really where we are right now.
So hindi lang po talaga sa call center yung ating customer experience that we express, but in all industries, you know, from nursing industry, from even in the domestic helpers, that's why favorite po tayo, because really, ang ating taus-pusong innate to serve.
Sana ganyan
is
sa
there.
lahat ng industry, no? Kasi minsan may mga ano na. sana lahat. I mean, it's everyone's dream na sana all, you
Like
know.
in government ba?
Ikaw nagsabi no, hindi ako. So sana ganon, yung customer experience, even, you know, in the private, in the government, in all sectors.
I think the trait of pasensya is very important.
Yeah,
For which,
yeah.
in general, Filipinos po ay mapagpasensya at mapagsakripisyo.
So is that the reason why we overtook India in terms of voice call center experience or industry?
Well, that's one of them. And then number 2 was our infrastructure started to grow. And number 3, as far as the telco, power, the locations, our incentives, inviting locators to come over here. And I would like to think that the accent,
Yeah. Closer affinity to the,
and the culture,
American
the
culture,
culture
and the
of
language.
our country is very close to the U.S. And the accent of the Filipino was more understandable.
I would believe that the British companies would require call center services would go to India, or is that not necessarily the case?
No, that's the case also. But the Philippines also services the UK and Europe. for about maybe about 15% of our total market share.
And I think also one of the ones that we compete in the international market for this industry is Poland. And if you look at it, Poland is nearer to UK. So if I am the buyer of a service, I also look at the nearshore and the offshore. So their nearshore will be probably Poland, and we are the offshore. But we do have clients coming from UK. And they also send it over to Poland and so forth. You know, depending on the priorities of the company that wants to outsource some of their processes or call center.
And the language, of course, no? Because although while we do have foreign language speaking here, it's not a lot compared to
In the Europe.
the European countries.
Because I used to run also a call center within the captive na meron akong French-speaking, Taiwanese, Japanese, Thai. And I know how difficult or how easy to acquire those skills, competency within our country. For example, it's easier for us to get in the Chinese-speaking, for example, because I guess we have many Filipino Chinese here, and of course there's so many dialects. When you go for Japanese-speaking, we can also easily find it, but the Japanese language, business language, is very important to the Japanese, for that matter. And pag French, siyempre, hindi ka naman marami, pero nakakakuha kami. But if you replicate very big, then probably we will need to search a bit more.
Yeah. So, na-flash natin kanina, Sir Mickey, yung for vision niyo for 2025, merong digital cities, meron ng, ano yung mga naging challenges? Kasi I understand it's not all the areas in the Philippines, yung inyong vision for 2025. Ano yung mga naging challenges? Why hindi nalalagay dun sa list for the digital cities for 2025, yung ibang areas?
All right. Well, I go back to the 4 levers of
Acceleration.
and specifically, we talk about the infrastructure. So that would be availability of connectivity, telco connectivity, of course, to be able to connect. Number 2 is you're looking at the ease of doing business, of course. And then, of course, the talent. No? But the most important thing, I guess, would be also maybe the weather or susceptible to calamities, I guess, would be one of the things for consideration. Not that I'm saying all these other locations are not capable, but it has to be something that has to be worked together with government to ensure the availability of services there.
Calamity proof.
That would be optimal.
Yes, that's why digital cities are worked by the DICT. So they first one who vets which one comes into it. And then we are like the buyers with our members. So we look at where are the opportunities.
So it makes life easier for you to identify the areas.
Yes, because they start the preparation. Yes. So it's really a big partnership with the ICT in this endeavor of the BPO industry or IT BPM.
Yes, we actually allow, what we do is during our GMM meetings, we invite the cities, the LGUs to make their their pitches. So it opens the eyes to our members on where the opportunities are. So that's when the inquiries come in, and we run surveys among our members, where they want to go. So that's been coming up.
So aside from we ask them where they want to go, how can we help you? Which is the role of the Contact Center Association of the Philippines, is to enable and help them and bridge them to where they want to go to grow.
Yes, and let me just add, the membership of CCAP, we're not only the big contact centers. We're talking about, we have what we call the SME. Now, SME, it's about what, 40% maybe?
Yeah, 30 to 40%.
30 to 40% of our membership. So that would comprise companies where you have anywhere from 50 agents to 1,500 agents. So that 1,500 might sound big to us, but that's considered an SME. So we've also dedicated a council specifically to help them grow, to determine their needs, because their needs are also not the same as the big companies. So that's where we bring in a lot of perhaps best practices, big brother work. We try to see how we can help them with funding when possible, or how to help them grow essentially.
So it's really important to help the small, medium enterprises to become as big as the concentrics, to become as big as the teleperformer. You start small, how can you grow? And every one agent helps into the target of an additional 1.1 million more jobs.
Thus far, which are the biggest BPO companies? Like You mentioned Concentrics.
Concentrics, over
How many
200,000. Over 200,000
employees?
Yes.
Oh, that's big.
That's a lot.
Ganun pala kalaki ang
And if I'm not mistaken, correct me, Nikki, they have acquired Convergys, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
A long time ago. Oo. Started noon, naalala ko, kapanahonan ko nung Convergys was 50,000 employees. Then acquired by Concentrics, 200,000 sila. But Concentrics themselves is already very big. Yeah.
There are a lot of apprehensions about the emergence of artificial intelligence. And you're talking about the AI being a parallel development with the industry.
Baka ma-compromise yung trabaho ng
Yeah.
tao
How
with the
do you
emergence of
see
AI.
Okay.
the development of AI?
Well, AI has been here for quite a while. If we move back to 7 years ago, perhaps, chatbot is considered a form of AI. So 7 years moving forward, 7 years moving forward, it's still where it is. They are enablers. They help us. Now, what's big now is what you call generative AI, which is really for content generation. That's really for helping sentiment analysis, and among other things. No? But there's a lot of work that still has to be done to see how this is going to come into place. Globally, right now, there's a lot of use case studies going on to determine where generative AI would be useful. Now, in the Philippine scenario, based on research provided by our Everest consultancy, the impact of generative AI will come in within the next maybe 2 to 4 years, which allows our country to develop upskilling our people to be able to handle the needs of the job. Basically, it will increase productivity. At a certain level, we will be able to handle more calls or more non-voice inquiries because generative AI can help answer to the responses faster. So
hindi ibig sabihin na parang it's a threat to
Yes.
I wouldn't consider it a
to the real humans na
No, I don't think so because that will also generate additional jobs to be able to support the technology.
And maybe if I could just add there, in this industry, that's why it's called ITBPM, Information Technology Business Process Management. Technology is our partner in enabling and running this business. Automation has happened long time ago. Even in my time as a BPO operations, we've automated in the international trade. If you import glass, I would just put there in the computer glass for a cup and for what purpose. Automatically, the computer will tell you what is the harmonized system code it will be. And then the human will do the last 6 digits to say specificity of the glass. Okay, because it can be glass for a window, but it's a drinking glass. So what I'm saying is that technology has always been there. Now, the generative AI, which has been the new buzzword in the last 7 months, it was introduced in the last 7 months. So everybody, it's driven by user that, oh, this is the thing, this is the thing. The question is always, will it eliminate job? Okay, I think that's the straight question. Will the job be obsolete? No. Case in point, as a call agent, I will use, a lot of the companies are using now agent assist. And that agent assist is that caller pa lang pagpapasok, may kita na namin kung ano yung kanyang concern. The agent assists the computer with the historical profile of you, knows already your profile, and immediately the agent can say, how can I help you? Mas may kita niya historical problem, and then the historical resolution. The agent assist helps the call agent to be able to resolve the problem straight away, the sentiments of that, and give you resolution as fast as possible. Okay. Productivity-wise, as expressed by Mickey is there. How? Pag bago kang call agent, usually ang ramp up mo 6 months for your learning curve. Because of the agent assist, 2 months lang, you're very good already. So that itself, you elevate yourself, your role immediately. So that's just one example to give you the generative AI on an agent assist, how it is. It increases efficiency, productivity, and then as an agent, rather than I'm scrambling everywhere to find answer in the computer, it helps me. I am now more active listening to you. Then I can focus more on my empathy of entertaining your calls, enhancing the customer experience for which we are known for. No, the study has been done po na it has increased at least 13.5% of efficiency. And because of this generative AI, it's creating more other jobs. That's why upskilling and reskilling is happening in the company of Mickey, because so that these people will be able to handle more complex questions and handling of customers. Because the generative AI can be handled by a newcomer because they're assisted, and then those that came from here have to handle now more complex problems. Hence, the upskilling and reskilling of the people are happening
okay.
all over the companies.
Yes, we also have members who are already working with generative AI, using their own in-house developed tools, or working together with available solutions out there. No? So there's a lot of work going on there, and at the end of the day, it helps moves us up the value chain. I think that's the most important thing.
Correct. And many companies are just now, either they're implementing it or they're staging it, meaning nagpe-prepare sila. Because if I'm a third-party service provider, I have to also ask my client, would you like us to already move to generative AI because of a lot of accumulation of knowledge database we've acquired? We can automate it faster. It depends also on the client whether they're ready for it or not. And of course, as a company service provider, we should be ready that we have the tools to offer that.
Yes, actually, this is a very hot topic. This is going to be one of our major discussions during our Contact Islands conference in July.
Yes, we have
yeah.
a conference on
Yeah.
July
Let's
26
talk
to
about that.
28.
Yeah. So bago, tatanungin ko muna to, Ma'am Rosario. So before we proceed to that, to your conference in Cebu, being a vital industry, the BPO being a vital industry in the country, meron ba kayong mga request or lambing sa government, in terms of, propelling yung inyong vision of, making it, doubling the revenue and, expanding to other cities, yung ganun. So, ano yung mga lambing niyo sa government to make it easier, to make it seamless or to that effect?
First of all, we go back to our intent to grow in the countryside. And when you grow in the countryside, you are dealing with the local government unit offices. And every LGU have a different level of processes in terms of whether they are automated already or still manual and so forth. The number one na lambing namin talaga is ease of doing business, processing of business permit, health sanitation certificate, and so forth. Kasi yun yung mga a bit of pain points na kailangan sanang maging more efficient and things like that. So when we have the LGU digital cities present in our GMM, the question is always asked, how long is the process to get a import permit? How long is the process to get the health and sanitation clearance each year? And what are other tax incentives there in that city? Kasi meron pong national tax incentive yan. Meron ka ring per LGU na pang-incentive because it is to attract investors and so forth. So ease of doing business is number one, lesser bureaucracy, and hope that the LGU will be in the future. That's why the ICT is overlooking the digital cities, is that they can be digital as well. They have automation as well in the processes, computerized. We're in the digital world, and by doing that, we are there's transparency and efficiency in the business permit. At the end of the day, tao, you get upskill and reskill. Pero yung processes can be efficiently
That's
done.
true. That's true. And this administration has been very supportive of our industry
That's correct.
in terms of how to deal with that, work from home. I have a very specific task ask in a way, because this would be helpful to the country in general. Every so many years, the BPO companies have to dispose of their computers. So they want to donate it. So we have to be able to find a mechanism to donate it properly, whatever, if it can be considered a tax-free donation or something like that. But make it easier for us to be able to give away the equipment for asset disposal.
So it's a hard. It's not so easy right now to donate.
No, it's not. It's not hard. It's just that it has to go through a process. There's a process to make it all happen. No? If it can be done easier, why not? For the benefit of schools, for the benefit of whoever, that these equipment can be given out to them, and that way we also save the environment.
And maybe if I could just retain what he said, that this current administration has really shown the commitment working with the IT BPM industry. If I recall correctly, the very first trade promotion of the of the government is that they brought in our chair at the time, chairperson of the CCAP, to New York to say that this is the industry of the Philippines known for, and please help us grow it. So that itself, you could see that the government sees the importance of the BPO industry. And of course, by demonstrating that, then the government agencies that we deal with, okay, they're very open. When we, to be very honest, they've been very, how do you call this, listening and patiently listening to the pain points of our industry and looking for ways to resolve it in the areas of the HMO VAT at that time, in the areas of the work from home situation. It has been resolved. It takes time, but they take the time to listen and find ways to resolve it. But of course, if we go to the groundwork already of expansion to the countryside, then okay, let's go naman onto the LGU processes. That's why we're very grateful to the DICT for really helping these digital cities to be prepared for the way the IT BPO industry really works for a mutual benefit.
So yung yung workforce is not really a problem. Ang infrastructure.
I would say that the work, it's not the workforce, that availability of talent is a key issue now if we do not resolve it, because in the long term, with the growth of 59 billion, with an additional 1.1 million, it's hard to get the 1.1 million if there are no additional talents coming in, employable. Kasi ganito po yan eh, as the companies are upskilling and reskilling, we are working very closely with the academe and the Department of Education and so forth, and how to improve the curriculum with an input on an industry input para paglabas po nila sa pagka-graduate nila, ready na. Hindi naman 100% ready, pero talagang employable near hire, no? And on that basis po, para po hindi vicious circle, upskill kami ng reskill dito, pero yung pumapasok, I still have to upskill and reskill. So para may improvement na, iba na yung investment dito and focus. With technology, it's so fast that the new skill has to come in. So immersion program, we want to immerse them in our company, in the members' company, for 300 to 800 hours, hindi 40 hours lang po. And we already hire K-12 graduates, okay? So just to let you know, not to that point, we're already also going there, but we tell them, can we upskill a little bit more or enhance the curriculum para ready, para naman mas okay ang training ground na niya bago pumasok sa atin. So, to answer your question po, the talent is still really a key focus that we are doing. Infrastructure, the companies like PLDT, Globe, and others are really working very hard kasi that's their business. Pero talent, we have a chance to be able to make that difference. And that's our value proposition to the world, our talent.
Yeah.
Anong potential employment when we reach 59 billion in revenues? How many would that translate in terms of jobs?
As an additional 1.1 million more jobs po. Of course, in various roles, and Mickey can probably express
Yes.
what are the various roles that
Yes,
comes
for
from it.
the contact center industry, the 59 billion of which, and that's an additional 2.5. 1.1 million is expected to come from our industry. So that's really covering all types of verticals, no? Finance, insurance. You're looking at medical, health, and then overall basic customer service for fast-moving and consumer goods.
Yeah. And with if we go back to the generative AI, new jobs, roles are created. Just look at this, yung mga chat GPT, and all of these generative AI. 2 years ago, there was no job, or 1 year ago, there was no such a thing as a prompt engineer. There was no such a job role before. And the prompt engineer are there to handle what is the output of the generative AI that will be useful to the end users and the consumers and the business. So if you could see, there are new job roles being created as a result of this technology. So yung upskilling namin na ginagawa ngayon is to prepare them for the future even more. So that 1.1 million is not just as a call agents, but it goes to a different career level from a senior to up, to become the head of the operations, the head of service delivery, and so forth. And eventually to become the head of the company. Mickey started as a call agent. Look at him now, he's now the head of their company and so forth. You know, so that is to show there is a career in this industry.
Yeah.
And we hope these college graduates consider this industry to be their path. may not be for long term, but even as their entry point for their financial independence. At sana dito na lang sila kaysa mag-abroad.
How much na po ba? O sige, before natin tanungin Chito yung
Yes,
event nila
yeah.
sa Cebu. Tanungin ko lang,
We should not
magkano
forget
na ngayon ang entry level ng isang contact center agent?
I think it varies. It depends on the skill. It depends on the need.
Oo.
It depends on the.
Ang average lang.
I would think
Working
about
company.
25, 26, maybe.
That's high.
Maybe, more or less.
More than the average in
Correct.
the
I think what you have to look at, every places in the Philippines has a different minimum wage. Okay, but in general, the companies that is under this industry offer above the minimum wage, and you have to look at it on a total remuneration package. When I say total remuneration package, you just don't look at the base salary. You look at the fringe benefits. The industry offers way above in terms of fringe benefits. You know, we look after your health, we look after your family. Alam mo naman po ang Pilipino, you are cradled from you are taken care from being born up to your grave, as they say.
Womb to tomb.
Womb to tomb. But the point is, total remuneration package is the name of the game, aside from the base salary.
You know, you'd want to also include their performance incentives that are
Correct.
given for work that they do.
And because we service a lot of overseas clients from the United States, from Europe and Asia, the probability is very high that they are sent abroad for further training and growth. So, hindi mo na kailangan mag-abroad para makita ang ibang bansa. This itself propels you. I myself have worked in a captive BPO, and I have seen the world because of this, you know, and I'm very grateful, and I realized this is where I should, to be relocated back or to really grow old, for example, you know.
So Rosario, can you talk about the Cebu event this
Oh, yes.
July
Opo.
26?
July 26 to 28
28.
is our annual conference, which is our flagship conference called the Contact Islands. Why we call it Contact Islands? We do it in the islands in order to promote also that city where their expansion can be and to give an experience to our members to be there. So the Contact Island will happen on July 26 to 28, which will start with a CEO forum. With a ministerial discussion with government and some agencies. And then we will have also from U.S. Embassy will be there to talk about cybercrime in the digital cities, because we have to be aware of this. We're in the digital world. And we have the U.S. Embassy there, the Indian ambassador will be there because they are the strong leading voices of the industry. What can we do to collaborate to make this industry grow, not just for the Philippines, but for the world? Okay, it's a very big $275 billion market. And so forth. And then we have tracks on people, finance, and technology. ESG is a subject there. Generative AI will be discussed there. We have thought leaderships will be there. So many, the big guys of the Accenture and the Google and the Microsoft and so forth. But Miki can expound more of what it offers to all our members and those interested to join us.
Yeah, essentially it gives you an insight. One, it gives you an update on where we are as far as the roadmap is concerned.
Correct.
Now, secondly, we'll be talking a lot about generative AI. Definitely, it's a hot topic. It's also a hot topic now, devoting a whole plenary to that, from solutions that are available to the effects, which we were talking about earlier. And then, of course, best practices, networking, delegations. We have delegations coming in, and possibly discussions with potential investors if they do push through with the conference.
How many participants are you expecting?
Right now, we have over 300 registered participants already, and we expect about 400 we will reach this time. Okay, and that is composed of C-suite level, from our members and potential investors into the country, for that matter. So talaga is a very high profile. That's why we also collaborated, for example, with the trade commissioners in the U.S. of the Philippine Consulate Office to get us some international delegates from the U.S. that may be interested to either establish their back office in the Philippines or to outsource it to a third party. To showcase that, we're showing some of our members' back office or BPO in Cebu to show to them how it works. And we have BOI regional officers in Cebu will speak on how to do business in the Philippines. So aside from the growth from our members, let's get growth from outside so we reach this $59 billion revenue and more.
Okay, so
So
very...
I've seen the lineup. It's quite impressive.
Oo,
It's a
ano.
long list of professionals.
Yes po. Hopefully then we have a lot of the CEOs of the big companies there
Correct, yes.
who are leading in terms of doing business in the Philippines using technology in the industry. You have the enablers there, such as the telecom infrastructure will be there, the PLDT, the Globe, the real estate companies will be there because they matter, they serve the industry. We have thought leaders in generative AI.
And you have the trade secretary himself.
Yeah, we've invited him and also Undersecretary Seferino Perry, hopefully also invited because we work very closely with the Board of Investment in that. And the ICT is definitely going to be there. Si Yusek Josel at si Director Emmy and Director General of PEZA and
Yeah,
things like that.
Teo Panga
Tayo pa nga.
will be there.
Yun talaga po mga
The
business
president
stakeholders.
should be there because
We'd love to.
he's advocating digitalization.
Correct, kahit video message lang, masaya na po kami. Pero if he could come over, would be wonderful.
You requested naman siguro a video message.
Interesting you said that. First is we also invited one of his presidential advisor, si Mr. Frederick Go, who would be part of the panel discussion with the CEO forum. Yes.
So this is the chance to invite the president.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
And,
our
and your last words
Last
to our
words,
viewers, Sir Mickey and Ma'am Rosario.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for inviting us over. Thank you for allowing us to expound. I hope we were able to enlighten the public on our industry, the importance of what we're doing, and what we want to do to propel ourselves to 2028 as an economy.
Maraming salamat for this opportunity, and I'd like the audience to also have an appreciation that this industry contributes 8 to 10% of the GDP in the economic growth. So we are very passionate about this industry because we know it will make a lot of difference in generating jobs, for poverty alleviation, for really making an impact in the countryside. Not only as a pride of a Filipino and our country in the international arena, but a personal objective of us is to give jobs for the Filipinos. We have seen the impact of pandemic, and ITBPM industry has shown its resilience that this industry can survive and thrive of whatever crisis it may be. Maraming salamat po. And sa kabataan po dyan, gusto ko po sanang imbitahin kayo to join our industry, the ITBPM industry. You will grow your career with us.
Okay, well said. So we're wrapping up and
All right.
this
So
is-
again, thank you mga katribu for watching another episode of Straight
Straight
Talk. And we'll be just tune in again next week for interesting guests.
you can follow us on Facebook,
and YouTube.
yeah,
And thank you
YouTube.
again, Sir Mickey and
Ma'am
Ma'am
Rosario.
Rosario from our executives, our leaders from the Contact Center Association of the Philippines.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, mga
So
katribu.
catch us again next week.